Hey everyone, it's Jeremy here. In this video, I really want to talk about 7 specific pieces of financial advice that Dave Ramsey preaches that I didn't follow on my debt-free journey and that I still don't follow to this day. My wife and I, we paid off $50,000 in debt. We moved across the country and we purchased our home here in cash. So we have no debt, and we would be considered on baby step 7, right, which is about growing wealth and giving. And the reason I'm making this video is to really kind of just shed some light on the fact that personal finance really is personal, and right, there's not just like one specific path that you have to follow to reach a certain goal, right? So you might be in debt right now up to your head, or maybe you just might relate to some of the things I might say today. You're just interested in what I have to say. I think you have to kind of really take a framework and then really kind of just make it your own based on what is going to work for you. And so like the Dave Ramsey framework, obviously he's a Christian, right? And so he's takes a little bit of I don't know if it's like a biblical perspective, but because he's a Christian, I really felt like led to follow his plan. But we tweaked it a bit to make it work for us. And so I'm going to talk about 7 things that I didn't follow and that you really don't need to follow. And I'm living proof, right? Baby step 7. Here, right, the desired goal that most people are trying to achieve. And so I feel like I share a different perspective. So let's dive in. It's actually a little chilly outside, and my son is inside sleeping and my wife's cleaning or something. So I am outside today, and it's a little chilly, but it's not too bad. It's been about 20 degrees out here in Michigan. So I'm surprised it's not snowing. It'll start snowing here soon. So the first one is clipping coupons. Now I kind of have a boundary when it comes to clipping coupons. For me, I'm not going to go out of my way to use a coupon. Now, I grew up with family that uses coupons religiously, and for me, I just feel like it costs more time and energy using a coupon. And now that I am kind of in the marketing space, advertising, I understand that coupons are really meant not to serve you, right? As a customer, they're not in the best interest for most of the time for the customer. It's a tactic to, right, drive urgency for you to buy ultimately. And so even like with like gas stations, I don't know about you, but like with gas stations, like I used to be the one that's like, okay, gas is $1.40 here, but if I drive a few miles away, I can get it for $1.37. Like I would like go out of my way to go to that $1.37, and I realized like, wait a minute, what am I actually saving? If my tank is only 12 gallons and there's a 3-cent difference, right? So 12 times 3 is what, 36? So it's $3.60 that I'm saving. You know what? No, it's like 36 cents. What am I saying? It's 36 cents that I'm actually saving. And so it's not really worth the time. I'm spending more time and money, right? The gas money to go the extra mile to get and save 3 cents. So it's just like, as I finally realized, like, why am I wasting time and money trying to save just a few pennies and a few dollars here? Because really a coupon, you're not really going to save a lot of money. I'd rather focus my energy on saving on like bigger items, bigger ticket items, such as like, new laptop, new camera, something like that. So I really won't go out of my way to like, use a coupon to buy something. I'll make sure I know what I need. And, right, if it's under $1,500 or something like that, then I will not use a coupon. I'll just buy it because it's what I need. And so I don't really want marketers or companies to influence how I spend. I want to determine that. And so that's one reason why I don't use coupons. The second piece of advice that I didn't do to get out of debt was like get a second job. I know Dave Ramsey preaches like, work on the weekends, work at 20 hours a day or whatever. And I didn't see that working out for me because I was looking at the opportunity cost of that, right, which is obviously family time. But then another way I looked at it was like, okay, when I get out of debt, what am I left with, right? I'm not going to go work at a pizza place or, potentially drive Uber or something like that. I'd rather like develop a skill, and a service-based skill specifically, where there's a low barrier to entry. Like there's not a lot of cost to get started, right? Learn a skill and then provide that as a service. And so for me, for example, I got into photography, and obviously there was a cost, right, for a lens and camera to start, right? But I saw that as an investment, right? An investment in myself and invest in my skill, and a skill I can take with, right? After I'm done paying off my debt, I can take that skill and develop that skill and still have that skill to make money if I needed to. So I'm not for I'm not saying don't get a second job, but for me, I was thinking in that perspective, like, okay, I want a skill. After I'm done paying off my debt, I want a skill that I have. And I think photography was kind of perfect because typically people get married and want photo shoots on the weekends, on Saturdays typically. So I thought that was wonderful, and I didn't have to like sacrifice like, you know, my nights during the week, right when I was already tired from my full-time job. The third thing that Dave Ramsey preaches that I don't follow is he says that you should not see the inside of a restaurant unless you work there, and you should live on rice and beans. Now, to be fair, I am Hispanic and I love rice and beans, so that really wasn't a downgrade or sacrifice for me. But as far as like not eating at a restaurant, like, let's be real, like, who's actually not going to eat at a restaurant? Like, you know what I mean? Like, how sustainable is that? And so from my mind, I was like, okay, I know I'm going to fail, so I'm not going to set myself up to fail. Right. So what I did was I instead like set boundaries. Right. So like, for example, there was 2 rules that I had. It was like, okay, if we're going to go out to eat, my wife and I, right, we're going to spend $15 or less, and we're only going to eat out 2 times a week. Right. And so then you can at least calculate that. Right. So that's, if we eat 2 times a week, $15 each, that's $60 a week. Right. So 60 times 4 is, I can't do math, what, 240? So at least I knew that, right? So that I didn't think about the price necessarily because I had a rule, right? Okay, anything under $15 and I can go out, you know, twice a week. So it's like I set boundaries instead of setting myself up to fail, because there's no way. Plus, you know, when you're eating out to eat, you know, I feel like it's a great time to grow relationships with other people, right? I'm not going to be a hermit in my house and not do anything. That's just not a great way to live either. Another thing I didn't follow that Dave Ramsey preaches is that you should cut up your credit cards and not use them. Now, I can understand this to a point, right? For someone that's just completely reckless. But before I came to the Dave Ramsey financial plan, I wasn't reckless. Like, I knew the consequences of using credit cards. I didn't have a lot of credit card debt. When my wife and I got married, she was the one that had a lot of credit card debt, but then it became mine, right? And so we worked to pay that off. But specifically me, I never had any issues with credit cards as far as like discipline. And so it's like, credit card is a tool, right? Just like anything else, right? It's the person that is in control of that tool. And so that's how I view credit cards. Plus, I feel like credit cards are a great way to build your credit from the beginning. And let's be honest, I mean, Dave Ramsey says that, you know, credit score doesn't matter. Yeah, I think it doesn't matter if you pay everything with cash, but for the most typical person, that's just not gonna happen, right? So it's like, why set yourself up to fail? You know, I think a credit card is a great way to start building up your credit, and that's how I did it. Opening up different credit cards and also leveraging the points to travel for free. And so I think your credit score matters even more than ever today, as it is really competitive right now with the rent, to buy a house and different things like that, because they check that, right? Even insurance for different things. So I think your credit score definitely is important. Another thing that Dave Ramsey says that really kind of ties along with the credit cards, for me at least, is he says stop going on vacations. And I can understand that, but for me, I kind of worked my way around that by leveraging, right, using my credit cards religiously to pay for everything, and then using those points to travel for free. And so I can understand vacations can cost a lot, but that's not something that I followed. I just used the points and leveraged the points, and they would either pay for my hotel or pay for my airfare wherever I went. And so I thought that was a great way to travel for free. I know Dave also talks a lot about cash, and so he says, you know, use cash. I think he even talks about like envelopes, cash envelopes, if, you know, it really comes down to it. So that's not something I followed either. First off, cash, I don't know. I feel like when I have cash, I feel like for me, like I feel like I need to spend it, and I just wasn't. I would lose it too. I'm kind of like that. And for me, I like to track like everything. And so I feel like using a credit card and then syncing it up with like an app like Truebill or Mint or EveryDollar, whatever software is, and sync it with that. And I can actually track all my transactions, and I can categorize them and have reports for what I'm actually spending on, and track my spending and adjust from there. So for me, cash just never was easy for me to track and manage, and so I never really got into that. And the last piece of financial advice that Dave recommends is finding and talking with a financial advisor, right, about investing and different things like that. And for me, I never followed that. I feel like once you have a grasp and understanding of how the stock market works, just by reading a few books, I think that for me, at least, it clicked, and I literally just set my investments up and just kind of set it and forget it and automatically transfer payments into my retirement accounts and such. And I think having a financial advisor is great for those that really want hands off their investments and really need help and guidance. So I'm not saying it's wrong, but for me, I never really struggled with that. It's like I knew what I wanted. I know what I can expect to have when I retire. I know how to navigate stocks and investments and different things like that. So I never really felt the need to hire a financial advisor. And that 1%, even though they charge about 1 or 2%, you may not think that that's a lot, but that adds up and compounds tremendously. And so after me realizing and doing the math on that, I was like, holy smokes, this is costing a lot more than I thought. And so that's one of the reasons why I just learned how to invest on my own. And if things get more complicated for me and my net worth continues to grow, then yeah, I'll get a financial advisor if I need one. I think the value that I got from the Dave Ramsey plan that really helped me was honestly like the principle of just focus and starting small, right? And little steps ultimately lead to a big transformation, right? One step, one day at a time. That's really the principle that really stuck with me throughout his whole entire plan. That really kind of changed my mindset. It was like, okay, well, I can reach $1,000. I can do pay off my debt. I can hit emergency fund. I can do this, right? It was just kind of a simple steps. And so it's like that really trained my mind now on how I approach different things in life, right? Okay, let's take it one step at a time. And I really think that is really that just the mindset around the plan is really what helped me, because I realized I can be doing all the right things just at the wrong time. I'm gonna say that again. You can be doing all the right things just at the wrong time, right? And you can be just doing I was doing a million different things at once, right? Trying to start a business, trying to pay off debt, trying to do this, do that, working full time, right? And it was just a lot. And so it's like Dave Ramsey helped me really just focus and put things in perspective and put things like in a box and step by step. I hope that makes sense. But if you relate to any of this, if there's something maybe that you didn't do, let me know in the comments. I'm really curious to know what that is. But if that was interesting, hit the like button. That helps a lot. And I'll see you in the next video. How helpful was that guide to kind of just get clear on just like where you're headed?
Helpful. It was super helpful. I loved it because it helped me to do something maybe even very simple, but just to even dream and put it on, just type it down. That was that really opened my perspective. I mean, like also watching your videos, like, oh, living this kind of life is possible.